It's Friday. Yes, it's Friday. I feel good. And it feels good. Dun, 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 dun. Ah. DC, DC, DC. I saw a lady, I don't know if it was a lady or man, but they in the Trinidad area of DC. And yesterday on the, I think it's the neighborhood alert app, whatever you call it, made the statement that they are not going to vote for anybody that did not support extending the curfew. That's a good start. But unfortunately, as I've said before, like I said in my video the other day, when I was talking about DC and the limited options that we have, because basically all you're doing is getting the same version of a different kind. And we done had this for years and years and years and years and years. So the majority of them, even if they didn't, I did look, I think Janeese was the only one that didn't support or stated that she doesn't support extending the curfew. I looked, the other ones said that they supported it. So I don't know who the person that posted it is going to end up voting for, but my thing is, like I suggested before, people have to take their time out and go look at the policies. Not, oh, I like Janeese, oh, her hair's cute, oh, she a black girl, she this, that, that. No, you need to go look at the policies. Now for me, like I said before, I'm off rep. Not doing no females. Not doing no females, especially not liberal females. No, we not doing that. So, it will be a male. I won't be happy with a male. But hopefully his manhood or something will kick in and the protector, the male, the man nature will take over, because the only thing, like I tell people all the time, the only thing that keeps DC from being a full-blown hellhole like Seattle, Washington, and some other places like Seattle. I know a lot of y'all don't follow nothing much, but seeing people in Seattle, Washington, they are now out there actually putting up their own barricades and different things to try to, I guess, hinder or stop shootings from happening. I'm like, that is the most, first of all, it's disgusting that these people have to do that, because most of them, they're in the neighborhoods where they have different homes and houses. So you're paying something in taxes. You're paying something. And I believe Seattle has high taxes, like mostly the rest of them. So y'all are paying, but you can't depend on the government in your state, or should I say in Seattle, because I don't know worldwide, I mean nationwide, or not nationwide, statewide in Washington, but I'm sure it's pretty much like Seattle. But Seattle is just, when I said they actually literally out there putting up barricades. See, that's the kind of stuff that I'm trying to talk to people about now, because we see that if they don't get a check on crime with these children, what's going to happen is y'all children that you all cap and don't want to discipline, don't want to train up in no way that makes sense, that will keep them alive, instead of doing the Proverbs 19:18 thing that y'all doing, because you have failed to discipline the children or correct them. You don't even want to discipline or correct yourselves, the children. So when they end up, you're part of their demise. You're going to be part of their death in whatever form it comes in. They don't, I mean, so I don't want to hear nothing from nobody. Because at some point, everybody's going to have to take care of themselves. Because these people are letting you know that they're going to sanctuary and shield whatever criminal they got to shield. And a lot of you got that same attitude. I'm so glad and thankful. I want to thank my mother and my aunts and my grandparents and my great uncles and my uncles and just the older generation overall when I was growing up, because it's only with few exceptions. But I want to thank the older generations that came before us, way back into biblical times, that actually raised their children and did their best to instill a sense of right and wrong. And then if they did wrong, they still loved them, but they weren't going to tolerate them doing things that were going to jeopardize their home and well-being. To the point that if they had to put their foot down and say, look, I know you doing whatever you're doing, but don't bring it around here, and put you out. I know a plenty of individual, we were coming along because we was in the daggone crack era. A lot of guys we know, they was dealing drugs. They could not bring that stuff. It was rare. On occasion, you had some parents because they needed them to, they ain't had no money, no option. But for the most part, a lot of the parents, they were working. They were upper middle class or whatever, and they were not having it. They weren't going to jeopardize their jobs, their homes, their livelihood, or just they watch the news. Oh, my mom used to talk to me all the time about hanging out at the go-go, because she was like, I know the drug dealing boys, but don't they shoot after the Yeah. See, we had parents, they would talk to us, like, what are you doing? Why are you doing that? What are you doing that? So that's why I'm like today, and then y'all make excuses for all the wrong things. It's an excuse for every freaking thing. Nothing is nobody's fault. Yeah, but it is. And I know it is. And I'm going to tell you every time I see you. So we're going to go back to the crime. Because see, what you're doing is you're setting these kids up. Not only are these not going to commit to law enforcement, that not only are they setting them up, but you're setting them up. Because at the end of the day, regardless of whether or not they go to jail here, if they die the way that they live, they gonna answer to the man upstairs. And guess where they going? Let me tell you something. If your baby boy dies in the commission of a crime, or the result of a murder that he committed, and somebody comes back and kills him, what angels you think he was singing with? The only way he gonna be singing with some angels is if on his last breath he asks the Lord to come into his life. But most of the time they not doing that. They don't recognize no authority. They don't even barely recognize their parents. Because if they recognize their parents, they wouldn't do the stuff that they're doing now out here in the streets. Because I knew a limit. Did I do dumb stuff? Most definitely. But I knew it was a limit to what dumb stuff I could do. Because I was like, I don't want to listen to these people. I don't want to listen to them. But they don't have nobody to listen to. And then you got the nerve to call yourselves grown, but you side with children. Children are leading adults now. Ass backwards. And then these same adults expect you to vote them in office. I'm not voting for a childish mind like Janeese Lewis, but I know it's a lot of people that will. That's why I said, men, y'all gotta, I've been watching, it's been refreshing to watch videos with a number of men just really standing up saying, nah, this, between the illusion, confusion, and delusion of all this grooming children, this trans stuff, trying to erase mother and father and call people what I say, it was gestating person or non-gestating parent or whatever. You went from birthing person to whatever they talking about in New York, gestating. From women to cis women, or whatever they call it. It's no quantifiers. You're a woman or a man. And I'm tired of it. And you know the main culprits? We already know the Transocrats. TNC, Transocrat National Convention. We know who they are. But the majority of freaking females, feminine females, and failed to grow into their masculinity males are for that. Enough of that foolishness. Let people hate you, because let me tell you something. If you actually believe God and know what he said, you know it ain't but two genders. Stop letting these people tell these kids that, and stop letting them make up languages. Stop running around here acting like everything is cute. Stop running around here acting like crime is okay when it's not. Because you cry all the time. I'm tired of seeing people cry about the crime, but then when it comes time for somebody to be addressed for the crime, you don't want them to be addressed because of some silly stipulation. Our parents had no problems. If we did it, we were going to answer for it. And I thank God for that. Y'all don't think we better people? Some of us have done a good job raising our children, but there's too many of us that have not. And then, and Lord knows the children, that the little children that would be considered, I guess, what our great, either our nieces and nephews, or some people have great nieces and nephews. These younger ones, the little children now, between the no education going on in the schools, they passing out degrees and diplomas, but the failure to educate, to discipline, to correct, to hold accountable, to be decent, to look like you bathe, to have a thought, logic, anything. They shot. And that's because adults are not doing what they supposed to be doing. Period. I've been saying this for over 5-10 years probably. So yeah, Janeese, any female, they don't need to be looked at. And I know y'all matriarchy loving individuals, but you wrong. You can hate me, I don't care, because you know what? I'm 56 years old. I feel good with myself. I've been young and dumb, but I'm not that anymore. I'm a mature individual. I believe and I know, because I have lived through some of my stupidity by the grace of God, and I know that everything that God put in that word is true. We are out of order, and woefully so. And a lot of it is because homes are broken, roles are just obliterated. There are no boundaries. You don't have the elders doing what they're supposed to be doing. The elders trying to blur into children. And that's why you got the maps that the Transocrats, another word that they are trying to roll out. But a map is a pedophile. And y'all best to remember that, because I done told y'all that I don't know how many times. They want to add, I told y'all the real reason why they did the A, B, C, D, E, F, G is because they want to get to the P. And they're getting there. You see all these schools with all these different, the men, the women, having sex with the students. They ain't teaching them nothing. The literacy rate shows that they not really learning nothing. Some schools, yes. But the majority, it's too many illiterate children. And they were illiterate before y'all favorite excuse, COVID. They were illiterate already. I knew then. I knew long ago. When my oldest was still in high school and I was looking around at other people, watching their kids, watching what they weren't trying to do or allow with their kids, and I was like, this is going to be real interesting. So, but the saving grace for me was I knew When I picked schools for my made sure they were teaching. You know what I'm talking about? Teaching. Not just throwing stuff out there. Now, over the course of the years, past couple of years, I've been very disappointed. Like Curl disappointed the heck out of me towards my daughter's end. That's why she left. That's why she was like, no, I don't want to be there no more. So she finished her senior year online. And I've told people this story before. There's alternatives. You got school choice, especially in DC. You have school choice. You have charter schools, and you have homeschooling. You don't have to be in these schools that are failing. They're not teaching to think. They're just teaching them what to think and what to do and how to do it and what to say and what not to say. No, that's not on them. You develop that. That's why these kids can't think now. Always call somebody can't get out of a shoebox because they don't have the, the little toy you used to play where you had to fit the shapes and the little thing. I don't think some of them can do that. Yeah, they might be able to do some things technologically, but when the computers and stuff go down, when something crashes, what's going to happen then? They're going to kill themselves or kill somebody. You seen kids killed their parents because they took their phone or took their game. You see that happening. So imagine one day, the lights go out. We have a blackout or something happens. And you can't charge your phone, the battery's dead. What you gonna do with these kids? What you gonna do with them? Can they read? Half of them can't read. We've been seeing that too. Now you got professors out. I saw that this week, even though a couple of professors have spoken out before. And those are things that I was gauging over the years, just watching. I said, and then I had some people tell me, I had to sign. My baby had to sign up for remedial. I'm like, remedial classes, and they in college. I would have kept that to myself. In college, taking remedial classes. So your child wasn't ready for college. That's why a lot of them don't finish. And that's why a lot of them don't go. But a lot of them don't finish. They going wasting your money. They can't keep up. And that's the same. But the schools have passed people along, passed them along. So now passing along is happening on a college level. So now you had the professors come out of all places, California, to say they need to bring back standardized testing or the SATs. Because talking about how the kids can't read or they can't do, like, it's ridiculous. So now I'm like, and I heard this one man, he said, it's not even, he said, I don't even get excited no more, but and I said, I thought it was just me. I don't get excited either, unless I know that the school is still something that's in quality, and then some parents I just automatically look at, and I'm like, yeah, they probably made sure their kids got an education, because a lot of times now, like what I had to do, when your kids, you have to take your time out and educate alongside the school. But a lot of people are not doing that at all. You got people out here don't even know their kids can't read, which I find to be very hard to believe. But I mean, but then again, people don't even know where their kids are, don't even care, as long as they're not in the house with them, so they can do me. I'm doing me. Well, while you doing you, there are plenty and many of us, and we're growing, and prayerfully we will grow and act like we got some sense. We're tired of dealing with your children, and you, as a matter of fact. So, your time is going to come where either you're going to end up with tougher penalties, somebody that's going to enforce some laws, because we need the laws enforced, or you just might get taken out by somebody that you try to take out. But it's ridiculous. So I want y'all to understand, look at some of these other cities and states where they have people dealing with high crime and the freaking people, they taxing the living crap out of them, but they can't get no type of law enforcement because they lowering the laws and making, the criminals the victim. Because eventually that's going to be, they ain't going to show about to be Maryland. Virginia almost there. It depends, I guess it depends on the area. But DC, it's a wrap. Only thing, like I said, is going. DC has a blockade is because the feds have to still have heavy input and presence because it's the nation's capital. But if we weren't attached to or the DC probably be like Seattle, Washington, and I do believe that because the same mindsets and mentalities that run through Seattle are rampant in DC. That's why it's a hell no on Janeese. It's a hell no for me for all of them, but I have to pick somebody. So I'm gonna go with one of the men, and hopefully if a man win, it ain't even. I can't even. I'm just make sure I don't. I'm sick of these females. I'm sick of them. I'm sick of the gump boys too, but that's all the options on the table. Honestly, it's a bad situation. But yeah, so the person that said they not voting for nobody that didn't support the curfew extension, and rightfully so, because the same thing that I've been saying for I don't know how long about why should we be concerned about where we go at night when the parents need to be accountable and do what they need to do with their kids. We shouldn't have to be worried about where we go, what we do. I know I work hard every day. I pay my taxes. So why is DC worried about doing everything to make everything easier for criminals, but not for me and my fellow citizens that pay their taxes? Now, you know, but the majority of them really don't count. Because they really don't care. They don't think about the fact that why the crime is high and the correlation. But me, on the other hand, I do. So for me and a few people like me that ain't about all that nonsense, that's what I'm concerned about. That's why I'm like, yeah, we gonna have to find us a place to go. Now, a lot of people are shifting to Seattle because they can get away with doing a lot of different things. Only people that's gonna change Seattle is the voters, right? But that's just like New York, Chicago. Chicago. Y'all done lost the Bears. That's a whole nother conversation. It's not funny for the residents. It's funny for Brandon Johnson, Blow Jobson. It's funny for him. But the residents know. Because, see, that's jobs that's going to be leaving. That's a heck of a tax base that's going to be leaving. But in order to see, sometimes you got to feel. And that's the most unfortunate part of everything that people espouse today. Y'all espouse some of the most sickening things, but you don't think it's sickening, but it is. You do. And eventually you're going to get a turn. But when you get a turn, I really sincerely hope that you're ready for it. I really do. But you need to read up on some policies. Read the Bible. Pray for some sense, common sense, and wisdom. And get these daggone kids.